If you like to read, if you like to think, if you like to see the world differently, grab yourself a book, give this show a listen. Purple LitNerd gonna show you what you're missing.
Yeah! I just realized I should probably put my phone on silent. Welcome to the Purple LitNerd podcast for May the 26th, 2018. I am your host, the amazingly adorable Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my kitchen/dining room table in my apartment, which I call Jeffrey Thistlework. Yes! Oh, man. I'm so mad. I thought I was supposed to be getting a new audiobook today, and apparently I read the date wrong, and so I'm all... Boo. But, on the other hand, I get to talk about the Iron Druid Chronicles. Yay! So, before I get into it, spoiler alert. If you have not read the Iron Druid Chronicles, go do it, first of all. Spoilers. There's spoilers ahead because that's what I'm talking about. I'm summarizing the fourth book today. So, yeah, if you care about spoilers, don't fucking listen. Just saying. So, Tricked. Tricked is actually, I think, one of my favorites. I think it's definitely up there in, like, the top 3 or 4. It's hard to quite put into words because it's got Coyote. I love Coyote. Coyote is just, he's my favorite of all the gods. He's a fucking trickster, but he is my favorite of all the gods that manifest in this book series. Coyote and Perun are my 2 favorites, but Coyote's definitely like top dog, which is funny. He just makes me laugh because he's such a dick. Oh. So, Tricked starts out with Atticus faking his own death. And, so one of the things I love about this book series is that Kevin Hearn knows how to start a book. Like, I know he knows how to get your freaking attention right from the get-go, and you're like, oh, wow, and you just want to listen more. So, this book actually starts out something to the effect of, the greatest trick I ever played was faking my own death. So, Atticus, if you'll recall from Hammered, before Atticus goes off to Asgard, he makes a deal with Coyote. And this is where we find out what that deal was. Coyote helps Atticus fake his death in exchange for Atticus doing some stuff, which we'll get into here in a minute. So here's the thing about Coyote is his godly power. He is the Navajo manifestation of Coyote. And his, like, divine awesomeness derives in part from his ability to take on different forms. To make an exact copy of another person. So he takes on Atticus's form, knowing full well that the Norse, amongst other gods, are after him. And he essentially allows himself to be tracked down by a bunch of thunder gods, plus Tyr and I forget which other Norse god, but a couple of the Norse gods, and get himself hacked to pieces. and so that these other thunder gods will go to their respective pantheons and say, the Deocidal Druid is dead! And then they all get bonus bacon for alliteration. Which is a thing, by the way. Read the book and you'll understand. What really bothers me that I didn't think ahead of when I decided to start covering the Iron Druid Chronicles is that I can't get into all the hilarity of Oberon's little asides, particularly about bacon and stuff, because they're not really crucial to the plot. And what I'm trying to do is go through the books first, and then we'll get into some shows about like character analysis and themes, etc., etc. So this is going to be a nice summer for me because I love talking about the Iron Druid Chronicles. I'm just saying. Anyways, so Atticus fakes his death after the pseudo Atticus has been hacked to pieces by Tyr and Vidar. That's what it was. Tyr and Vidar hack him to pieces, and I forget which all other thunder gods were hanging out when this happened. One of them was Indra, and Shango from Nigeria, I think. Anyways, after Coyote, alias Atticus O'Sullivan, is hacked to little bits, the Morrigan, the Celtic chooser of the slain, comes down and says, I am here to claim the soul of Atticus O'Sullivan and take him back to Tir Nanog, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, I'm going to take his magical sword, Frogara. And they're all like, wait, that's our trophy. And she's like, fuck you. And she kills Tyr, I think. One of the Norse gods, she kills him, and she's like, all right, any questions? And they're like, nope. Everybody's like, nope. So, and I think I mentioned this in last week's show. If you'll recall, in Hammered, the Morrigan says to Atticus, she appears to him while he's in Jotunheim, and she says, look, I had a dream that you died. Well, this is that dream coming true. So she was right. He died. It just wasn't him. So Atticus, with the help of Coyote, fakes his death. And then afterwards, like the next morning, I guess, over breakfast, Coyote says, okay, this is what I need you to do. I need you to help me create a renewable energy plant on the reservation. And Atticus is like, okay, how, why, what do you need me to do? And Coyote's like, I need you to move some gold into the area so that we can mine that gold and use it to fund the renewable wind and solar energy plant, and it'll create jobs and revenue for the tribe. And Atticus goes, okay, yeah, I'll do it, sure. So that's the deal, is Coyote helps him fake his death, and Atticus helps Coyote generate revenue to better the Navajo tribe in that area. Well, come to find out that the reason Coyote wants to put this renewable energy plant or whatever in the specific spot that he wants to put it in is because there are a couple of skinwalkers that are terrorizing the area, and he knows that if Atticus gets involved in this project, that Atticus will dispatch the skinwalkers, and Atticus is not happy about this. He's like, whoa. This is your problem, this is not my problem, you take care of it. And Coyote's like, I can't take care of it because it's skinwalkers. Okay, now let me pause here to explain what the skinwalkers are. The skinwalkers are a human being who has gone over to, for want of a better term, the dark side of Navajo medicine. And they essentially trade their souls and their humanity for the ability to take on alternate animal forms with super strength and super speed and super crazy death mojo. It's, oh my gosh, it is so epic, the shit that they do. Like, wow, terrifying. So, Coyote has hired onto this project what is called, and I really hope I'm pronouncing this right. If I'm not pronouncing this right, blame Luke Daniels or whoever directed him, because I'm going off of how he says it in the audiobook. So Coyote brings on a Hitali, kind of like a shaman medicine man guy named Frank Chischili, to do a blessing way ceremony on a little structure that they have on the site called a Hogan, so that all the tribe members involved in the project will be safe from the skinwalkers. But here's the thing, is the skinwalkers only come out at night. Ugh. So the blessing way has to be done all night long. It's a lot of crazy shit that goes down. Well, before they can start the blessing way ceremony, well, okay, let me back up. I think I forgot to mention this at the end of last week's show. See, I know, if you're a regular listener of this show, first of all, I'm sorry, but I know you love that I'm just all over the place. At the end of Hammered, when Atticus returns from Asgard, and he meets up with Granuaile, he goes to pick up Oberon, who was staying with his neighbor, the Widow McDonough, while Atticus was off killing Norse gods. Actually, I don't think Atticus killed any on that particular trip to Asgard. Anyways, beside the point. Oberon, through the mental link that he shares with Atticus, tells Atticus that the widow actually died, but somehow after dying, after her soul left her body got possessed by something or someone else. And so Oberon sneaks out of the house, and while Granuaile and Atticus are parked up the street, and sneaks out and gets into the car with them, and says, look, we got to get out of here. This is a lot of freaky shit that's going on. The Widow McDonough, I know she died. I fucking know she died. I mean, he doesn't say it like that, but I know she died, but she's still walking around. And it's like, well, how do you know it's not her? Because she didn't drink any whiskey. Yes. So, back into Tricked. Before they can start the Blessing Way ceremony, guess who shows up? The Widow McDonough. Except it's not. Turns out her body has been possessed by Hel, the Norse deity of the dead, who has tracked down Atticus, knowing full well he's not actually dead. Who knows how that happened, but whatever. And she tries to persuade Atticus to join her in liberating her father, Loki, and starting Ragnarok, which is the Norse apocalypse. So Hel is broken free from her realm and is possessing this body and tries to recruit Atticus to her side. Atticus refuses, and she stabs him with this little, well, I don't know how little, but she stabs him with this knife, which she calls Famine. And what this knife does is it basically, or no, she doesn't actually stab him, she sort of like waves it at him. But she sort of gets a whiff of his scent or his aura or whatever. And so the next thing